China's just released a new policy document called Opinions on Comprehensively Promoting the Construction of a Beautiful China. Why is this announcement significant and what is new?
For sure. So opinions from the Central Committee of the Communist Party are the first step in preparing new detailed policy plans. So the fact that they felt like they wanted to put out one on Beautiful China, which is the catch-all slogan for environmental and climate goals, means that there's some momentum to move forward. And there are some significant goals in the paper. So one important thing is that even after the very impressive acceleration that we've seen in clean energy deployment, especially solar in China last year, they were still calling for speeding up the energy transition. So that's significant. And they set a new goal of achieving progress by 2027, which means that we can expect more detailed policies from the central government and from provinces to make things happen by that year.
China is the world's biggest emitter of carbon dioxide, but its emissions could start declining next year. How much will these updated measures help accelerate China's emissions decline?
Very impressive acceleration of clean energy started from the 2020 announcement of targeting carbon neutrality by 2060. So these kinds of high-level signals do matter to an extent. For the next couple of years, I would argue that the speed of the transition is pretty much locked in. Having these new targets is incredibly important because before this policy and still at the moment, China has this goal of peaking CO2 emissions before 2030, but that still leaves a 5-year period where emissions could, in principle, increase, whereas the current rate of clean energy additions is so large that emissions could start falling already this year.
What impact could the measures from this policy document have on Taiwan, if any?
The most obvious impact on Taiwan will be that if these goals of improving air quality and reducing air pollutant emissions are realized, then that will, of course, reduce the amount of pollution that is drifting over to Taiwan and thereby make it easier to improve air quality in Taiwan as well. So that's something that potentially everyone can notice just walking on the street. The other implication is that China's obviously pursuing a very ambitious industrial policy on around clean energy and clean energy manufacturing, and that means strong competition for all other countries and economies that have manufacturing in these areas. But on the other hand, the very high share that China has in these technologies like solar and batteries is making other countries vary of that dependence. So that could mean opportunities for suppliers outside of China to cater to those markets. So it could go either way.